Unmuted. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Thursday Night Live. I'm your host, Dr. Rita Louise, and thank you all for coming to the show tonight. I already saw that there's some new people like ERRT Radios here and Ronald. Hang on, I'm going to scroll up here a second. Ronald, who I don't know, but I think I'll get to know them as time goes on. Anyway, welcome to the show today. So I have to tell you, I really wanted to talk about how our ability to communicate our opinion, especially if it goes against the mainstream narrative, is being suppressed. I'll say it like that. I think you're all mature adults that understand exactly what I'm talking about. And you know me well enough. And I really wanted to talk about it, but, and here's my but this show streams to Facebook, this show streams to YouTube, and my fear was that if I actually shared my opinion about not being able to share my opinion, it would get taken down, or I would get a thing that says, you're just posting this to get likes, which seems to be the new get out of jail card that you see online. Anyway, so I've been talking about this on the show for a number of weeks, and I'm finally going to do it. There is no way I can do this presentation in 15 minutes. And so I decided that for the next couple of weeks, I'm just going to do the same presentation until it's done. I figure it's going to take me 2 or 3 weeks to get through the whole thing. It's about an hour's worth of material. But, okay, here's the exciting part. And there's a few people that have been wanting me to do this presentation. I'm talking reptilians. Yes, we will be talking about myth and reptilians. And so, like I said, I'm going to go for about 15 minutes. And then the next week I'll pick up where I left off and go for another 15 minutes. And so, if you miss an episode, you can catch up, because the shows are available online to watch. And because this is a presentation that I've done like out in public in front of people, I even have a PowerPoint. So how cool is that? Not only, okay, you don't get to see me being cool and funny because I'm just going to block myself out and then I can put my glasses on and actually see. But I'm just you're going to get imagery because I figured out how to get pictures on here and not share my screen. Kind of a pain in the butt, but it's all good. It's all good. So anyway, and hopefully this is going to work. All right. So what I'm going to be talking about today is reptilians and underground bases. And again, I will be talking about this for the next few weeks until I'm done. And then, who knows what I'm going to talk about. So for the people that know me and the people that don't know me, I am really not a contemporary ufologist. I can kind of talk to you a little bit about Roswell and, about some of the stuff that's going on. But as far as like digging deep into contemporary ufology, it's really not my thing. I am definitely, however, an ancient alien girl. The older it is, the more I like it. And so what I am going to present is, can our mythic record support the claims being made in contemporary ufology, especially when it comes to talking about reptilians and underground bases? Because I have to tell you, when I heard this and kind of did a little teeny bit of research, not a whole lot, it fast became my favorite conspiracy theory. Because people, okay, so like on a dating site, one of the things like that I like talking about conspiracy theories. And I had this guy ask me, so what's your favorite conspiracy theory? So of course I have to be like, well, the fact that there are reptilians living in underground bases that are controlling the world. And then he still talked to me, but he thought I would say like JFK, which that didn't happen. Anyway, so that's what we're going to talk about. Okay, so this is where it all started, is in a little town in New Mexico called Dulce, which is located in the Archuleta Mesa on the New Mexico border. Now, what's interesting is where this base, the Dulce base, where the reptilians supposedly are, is also in the same geographic area where, if you remember when there were all the cattle mutilations going on, there was a lot of episodes of cattle mutilations happening also in that same geographic area. So, kind of tying it together. Okay. So the first person that in contemporary, I'll say contemporary ufology, that brought this to the forefront was a physicist and an inventor named Paul Benowitz. And so, and I'm going to air quote this, he discovered an underground base occupied by reptilians. But what he did was that he used equipment and intercepted electronic signals that he believed were coming from deep below the ground. So there were these electronic signals coming from deep within the earth, and they were directed to a target, to a point that was too high for human activity. So it was up in, I don't want to say in space, but up high where we couldn't access it. And so Benowitz believed, and I don't know where he got this part, but it's attributed to him. He believed that lizard people, aka reptilians, were engaged in developing advanced technology in these underground bases, including genetic engineering. Conspiracy theorists took his material and added in another piece to it that suggested that these reptilians were controlling the government in order to gain control over the earth, and they were doing this via the New World Order. But he wasn't the only one that brought this story to the forefront. So there was a guy named Phil Schneider, who is supposed to be an engineer that worked for the government. Now Phil Schneider, if you look him up like on YouTube, I don't know if it's still there, but there are presentations that he has done talking about his experiences in these underground bases. But he claimed to have helped build the Dulce base in 1979. There are many people that believe that there was already an underground base, and I'm going to say more of a underground cavern, an underground area, and that the government came in and modernized it, put in lights, put in roadways, that kind of things. But as they were working on it, there was an encounter with the aliens during construction, and a gunfight broke out. And during that gunfight, like, one of the things about Benowitz is he's missing a finger. And so supposedly during this gunfight, he was injured. But apparently a peace deal was brokered with the beings, and, everything's been hunky-dory ever since. Another person that threw cards on the table was John Lear. So John Lear is a military test pilot, was a military test pilot. I think he's still alive. And his father was Bill Lear, the founder of Lear Jets. So if you're hearing Lear and going, huh? Yeah, his dad was the Lear jet guy. And I interviewed John Lear on my radio show, has a bunch of very interesting thoughts on things. But he claims that he received, because he was definitely in the know and mixed in the government stuff, that he received 4 independent confirmations that the 7-story structure at Dulce was real. So the question that we're left with is, could it be true? Could it be that there is this base deep within the earth that is inhabited by reptilian beings? And so here are the key claims that are being made, that I'm going to say bring forward during this presentation over the next several weeks, that reptilians live in underground bases, that they possess advanced technology, including genetic engineering, and that their goal is to control the world via the New World Order. Okay, and I'm looking at the clock. Okay, so I'm going to do one more slide because it's a long one, and then we will stop because I'm moving into a new section. Okay, so I need to kind of lay some groundwork as far as where we're going to go. So in part 1, I'm laying some groundwork as to where we are moving forward in these next episodes. And so when many people look at myths, they just think that they're stories, they're fanciful narratives of people's creative imagination. They think that they are exploring nature and telling stories about lightning in the sky or aspects of ourselves and our personality or something that has to do going on in our world. But when you survey myth from around the world, one of the things that you find is that there is a level of consistency one culture to the next, kind of regardless of where you look. So for example, and so this has been my criteria, when I wrote my book, E.T. Chronicles, What Myth and Legends Have to Say About Mankind or Humankind, Stepping Out of Eden, they were both written and researched with this philosophy in mind, is that if there is information that I find in a culture in like a Sumerian text, and I find a similar text coming out of Egypt, I'm like, okay, it could have traveled. But if I find a similar story, in the Americas, and one of my personal favorites, if I could find that same story in Australia, I would be like, ding, 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 ding. Because how would it get there? I have my theories, which I'm not going into. That would have to be a different episode. And so the statistical probability that cultures around the globe are all reporting on the same phenomena in a very similar way, to me, lends credence to the fact that what they're saying and what they're expressing is true. Many scientists sit there and say, well, they went from being cavemen and, that they were primitive, but they were not primitive enough to be able to build the pyramids, which doesn't make any sense. And that they didn't know or weren't able to describe what was right in front of their face that they could see with their own 2 eyes. Anyway, so when you start looking at this global narrative, what you do is you find a pattern around the world. And so I'm going to put this little teaser here. So what does myth have to say? So this is just a teaser, have to say about reptilians and their underground bases. So when you are talking about the group that I would refer to as reptilians in a contemporary sense, are often referred to as fertility gods. They're associated with water. They are depicted in their behavior as being mischievous. They're tied to the creation of humanity and as well as the education. And in art, they're often depicted as a half man, half snake, or half fish. I'm going to leave it there because we have a lot of information to cover. I think that's a good stopping point. And so next week, what we're going to talk about is first the underground bases. And once we're done with that whole section, we're gonna talk reptilians, but you know, you have to kind of like set the stage before you bring the actual reptilians in. So this was a great introduction. Again, next week we will start talking about the underworld. I would love for you guys to let me know what you think of this as far as our intro thing. Again, I wanted to talk about something else, but I didn't. How's that? And now my mouse is locking up. There we go. Okay, and I'm removing I'm removing those glasses. That's what I'm removing. Okay. But seriously, if you're enjoying this, you know, even though it's going to be multi-part, please let me know. I'm just trying to find things to keep you guys engaged and keep you coming back and all that good stuff. So I'm going to like do my little intro things, and then I will say hi, and we will get busy. And I know that you just come here because you want readings, and you just have to put up with me for the first 15 minutes. Anyway, you know, one of the things I've been saying is that, you know, the sessions that I'm doing here are just little baby general mini readings. If there are things going on in your life, whether it's a health issue, a relationship problem, you need some guidance on how to move forward, or you're confused about stuff, it really doesn't matter. I will talk to you about anything except dead people. Please go to my website, reach out to me, soulhealer.com. That's soulhealer.com. And drop me a line of who you can set up a time for a private consultation. While you're there, don't forget to sign up for my newsletter. And also down below, I have all of my social media links, you know, so I'm Dr. Rita Louise on Rumble, I'm Psychic Doc on something, you know, but go to YouTube, go to my Facebook page, go to my different social media accounts. I started becoming more active on Twitter. So if you're a Twitter person, I'm Dr. Rita Louise on Twitter, and I'm going to make a screen for that. But please, like, follow me, like me, do those things. And what I recommend to people that are listening to this show but want to participate in the action and join the chat, the easiest place to do that is on YouTube by going to my YouTube channel, Just Energy Radio on YouTube. That's 3 words, Just Energy Radio. On Friday night at 7 p.m. Central, click the live button and it will allow you to enter the chat area. And I can see it and I can respond. And how fun is that? Okay. All right, so I'm going back to my comments, and I know there's like a gajillion of them. And I'm just going to quickly say hi. And when I hit somebody that wants a reading, I'm just going to stop at that point and give them a reading, even though you guys were way early today. And Marco. So Marco's here. Hi, Marco. He says my hair looks amazing. The show hadn't started. He hadn't seen my hair, which is kind of funky today. But he says it looks amazing. So, okay. Anyway. Okay, so this is a good friend of mine. And actually, I don't know if you want me to give out your name, but this individual, Stay in Wonder Binaural Beats, that's his YouTube page. He's a musician. And so for you guys that have seen my icon, Deconstructing the Archetypes of the Ancient video, he's the one that did the entire soundtrack to that, which is freaking amazing. He's a wonderful musician. Check out his YouTube page, Stay in Wonder Binaural Beats, or his Facebook page. I guess, no, that's YouTube page. Okay. RLCC. Hey, RLCC. Hi, Amy. That's me. Unar. I'll get it one of these days. You would like a reading. Number 3. Okay. You know, you guys are going to come like even before the show starts, be like, wait, I want a reading. Oh, and the other thing is, if you want to communicate with me, if you want a reading, if there's a message you want me to read specifically or read on air, please put that in all caps so that I can separate out that I need to pay attention to it. Okay, so, okay, here's your card. That's your card for today. Well, it's interesting because, what I'm getting is not usually what I get with this card. So I feel like that you've been, and I'm going to say, trying to move forward, or things have been moving forward pretty good, but in this moment, because what I'm reading is where you are in this moment, I'm just feeling like there's some frustration or stagnation, or, I don't want to say it's resistance, because I feel like you want to move forward, but it's like the wind is blowing too strong and you're pushing against it, but you're not going anywhere, which can be really frustrating. I am feeling like this is going to be pretty short lived. My guidance is just be nice to yourself, breathe, practice some mindfulness things, and things will be moving forward. And actually, one of the things that I want to say also is, instead of stressing out about the not moving forward, just love it and accept it and allow it to be what it's going to be, because that will allow you to let it go and allow your energy to move and shift inside of you so that you will naturally move forward. Because sometimes we hang on to stuff because it's like, no, I have to fix it. I have to fix it. I have to fix it, which really messes up our energy. And so I would like to suggest that you just love it, acknowledge it, and go, okay, I'm feeling kind of stuck, and go from there. Okay. And of course, if I give you a reading, I would love to get some feedback. All right. ERRT Radio. So ERRT Radio and I are talking about having this show appear on his network, starting maybe this week, maybe next week. So welcome. I hope you enjoy the show and hanging out with us. And if you're here, I will always give you a plug. So he has a show. It is post your link below, and I'll, to your webpage, because I don't have it right in front of me, and I will put that out there. Okay, so Unar, my sister is visiting. Her name is Jamie. She would like a reading number 1. Wow, 2 for you guys. I don't know. And it's Jamie. Okay, Jamie, that's your card. Jamie, I'm just getting the impression that you're having a really good visit. I feel like it has felt really good to you to kind of leave that stuff behind, even if it's just for a little while, and just have the opportunity to breathe. So enjoy it, and don't allow that to stress you out, because you're going to get back to that as soon as possible. It might be a good opportunity to take this time that you are having some space to ask, what can you do to make that be a more joyful space, or to be less stressful, or where you can experience more peace and happiness in your life. Because when we're feeling good and relaxed, that's when our energy is moving and spirit can talk through us. I hope that helps. Okay, let's see. So ERT Radio says, you got friends in my chat. Your chat? Huh? All right. And Masters Radio and Television, your new name. Hi, Masters Radio and Television. Nice to see you here. Thanks for coming to the show. And he said Bobby is here too. Okay. Don't know who that is, but okay. Anton. Hey, Anton. Julie, nice to see you. Veronica, I hope you were here at the beginning, because I talked reptilians just for you. Although I didn't wear my Svengoolie t-shirt, but I did think about it. Margie, hey Margie. Marco says Ronald and Bobby, good people. Okay, cool. I love it. I love Rita's butt. You never even see my butt. I could have like a big old wide butt, because I'm only ever sitting. Hi, Drusilla. Nice to see you. Audio Landscapes. Hi, Audio Landscapes. So Veronica has a question. Veronica, post your question down there. Already, Veronica, you're not supposed to be having red flags or anything. All right, I'm going to actually pull a card because I can. And I'm going to do a 2 for you. And then we'll take a look. Because I just feel like pulling a card, and you don't want that card. You want that card. Huh. Okay, so that's the card that came up, which isn't very encouraging. Okay, Veronica, so I kind of get the impression that you are, when you come with certain life experiences, and you know where I'm going with this, it can make it challenging in a relationship because it's hard to separate out, is this my junk being triggered by something that they really didn't do? Or did they really do something? And actually I had that happen to me this morning. Usually my boyfriend texts me first thing in the morning and nothing. And it's like 9:30 and I'm like, okay. And so all of my like crappy ass programming was like, okay. But he didn't do anything. For some reason, the phone didn't send the text, and he is not technology oriented. So when it said like didn't send, he didn't look at it. So he didn't know that he didn't send it. I am not getting anything, but in the moment, I'm feeling like your emotional energy is really kind of flared up. So it's hard for me to separate out the two and make a realistic comment. On the surface, I am not seeing anything bad like in the relationship space. I mean, I see you like, when I look at him, I feel like he's just kind of there. He is facing into the relationship. His energy seems pretty grounded. When they're faced into the relationship, that means that they're giving it attention and they're giving it energy. Other than that, he seems kind of sedate and you just seem all over the place. So maybe you need to just sit there and go, well, maybe I'm being triggered and maybe he really didn't do anything. And then do a lot of breathing. Okay. Let me know if that makes sense for you, Veronica. All right. Yvonne says, I would like a reading number 2. Okay, Yvonne. All right. And this is your card for today. Yvonne, I just get the feeling that you're like going, oh my God, thank God tomorrow's Friday. I feel like you're just really kind of tired. Not from an emotional place, but more from a physical place. And you kind of like put your brain over there, or I don't know. I don't really, I just am getting that you're just tired. So this weekend, maybe you can just allow yourself to rest and relax and, be not kind to yourself, and let next week be next week instead of trying to solve all the world's problems all at once. Because based on what I'm seeing, you really could use a little bit of downtime. Okay. right. So Marco, see, he doesn't put this in caps ever. You should let me co-host. Okay. Okay, so we got a couple of yes to the reptilian thing. Time slip. Okay. ERT. Okay, so I'm just going to leave this on the screen for you guys to read, because based on how I opened the show about like having an opinion or not having an opinion, I am not going to have an opinion, and I am not going to vocalize this for that very same reason. Okay. All right. All right, now I'm just reading this. Really? So Eric said that Phil Schneider was my friend. So Eric, I would love for you to like post. I'm looking at where our chat is. If you have any information that, like whether you believed him or thought it was so weird, I would just really be interested. I mean, I would just really be interested. Oh, hurrah. Hey, girl. Nice to see you. All right. Let's see. So Marco says, how did you found Rita? Okay. All right. I need to just go past because I'm just reading them and there's not. Jeffrey, my friend. And that's Raylan, everybody. And I don't know what he's barking at, but he's barking. All right, so I'm going to read this, and I am not censoring this. I'm just reading, and hopefully it's not anything bad. And I should put my glass on because this is really small. Isn't he the one Richard Dottie drove? But you see Dottie on these videos after admitting being on ASOFI. Paul lived right across the street, and all of it happened, and Sophie came knocking. Jeffrey, hi, buddy. Okay. So Marco's talking about John Lear, that he was batshit crazy, but hero pilot for sure. So I'm sure that at least half the interview of me talking to John Lear is on YouTube, and I have this whole story that I will tell in private. I won't post online. I won't share on air because, I don't like saying mean things. All right, I don't like saying mean things about people in public. Now, to your face about somebody else, maybe not so much. So, anyway. All right, so Ann Lee says, question, Chinese or other language would be best for me. Well, I only speak English, not Chinese. So that would help. And really, I'm just doing card readings. So if you would like to get a reading, a number from 1 to 3, just say you would like a reading and a number from 1 to 3. All right. And so Jeffy's talking about John Lear. He logged more hours in more aircraft than anybody has. So many FAA aircraft. He was the Air America story. Okay. Well, there's a great conversation going on in here. All right. So, I'm going to make this suggestion. I know I have a lot of Facebook people that come on here, but the people that are on YouTube can see the comments from YouTube, and the people that are on Facebook can see the comments that are on Facebook. And I'm just going to say there's more people that come on that are on YouTube. So if you all want to like chat with each other because you can't see each other's commentary, I would suggest that you, and I'm sending people to YouTube, but that you all go to YouTube because it just would be easier. And then you could all chit chat. So Horror wants to know, do the reptilians have a good intention? And I talk about that at the very end of the presentation because this was part one of, and I'm going to say four that I'll be doing, and that'll be the very end. The short answer of it is nobody knows, and I have some speculation on it, but that's about all I have. Good question. All right. Mike Harris, and it is, that's what kind of led me to do the research about a little deeper just about the reptilians and the underground bases, because you sit there and you talk about these fertility gods and the things that they did and what surrounds them, and you sit there and go, okay, but if we bring it into contemporary culture, we are talking reptilians. I mean, it's hard to get around that. Julie says they're in all countries, right? And yes, that is a true statement. Margie says, thank you for your presentation. And again, I will be doing part two. We'll be talking about the underworld, which would be the underground bases. But in myth, it was referred to as the underworld. And then Ohura says, I'd love to hear more about reptilians from you. And Ohura, next week, be here on time because that is the opening topic. Let's see. So and sorry, I'm not like reading all these because you're not putting them in caps. So I'm just kind of handpicking. ERRT Radio says your glasses are fine. I'm like, yeah, they're okay. All right, Amy would like a reading number 2. All right, everybody's liking the topic, and I haven't even gotten into the good stuff yet. One of the things for me with this topic is that there's a portion of it that you really have to do pictures with. And when I figured out that I could put a PowerPoint presentation up, I'm like, sweet. Okay. I mixed them too much, Amy, but this is what you're going to get. Ooh, boo. Okay, so for the people that are new, these are called mask cards. And so when they come up for me, my interpretation of them, not that that's what they supposedly mean, but my interpretation is there is something you don't want to look at, that there's something blocked or challenged in your space. And I usually will pull cards until I feel that the energy shifts. And so, Amy, luckily, it was the next card. I mean, Amy, it's interesting. I feel like, and I'm just going to go the last week, because I do a reading for you pretty much every week. This last week has actually been kind of okay. I feel like something yesterday or today kind of put you off a little bit. And I have to tell you that there have been, and I'll bring this up as a generic thing, for a lot of people this week, I mean, for me, it's been the last few weeks that it's just been like, here, throw more crap on the pile. As an example, on my project house, my electrician decided that he didn't want to work for me anymore after I already gave him a lot of money. So now I have to take him to small claims court. Yay! Yay! Just what I wanted to freaking do. Anyway, and I feel like for this last week or last couple of weeks, there's just been like weird crap again. It just is this nonstop weird crap. And Amy, I just feel like you've hit some weird crap and your energy's a little funky right now. I ain't worried about it. So again, if I've done a reading for you, feedback is always good. Okay, and Uhura would like a reading number 3. Okay. Ooh, mask card on the bottom. We'll make sure that one stays on the bottom. Okay. All right, and that's the card that came up for you. Interesting. So I'm sitting here talking about all this crazy, actually I didn't even really look at the picture. You know, there's this image with somebody in like a wave, a beach wave, you know, and there's all this turbulence. And I feel like, Ahura, you are like in the middle of all of this turbulence. And it's like you have made it your mission in life. I like that. To just, what do I need to do to stay calm? What do I need to do to stay centered? And I feel like you're doing a really good job at it, or at least in the moment, you're doing a really good job at it. I really feel like you're holding your space right now. So congratulations to you, because I am sensing all of this turbulence around you, but you're not, it's not bothering you. So good job. All right. And so Julie says, show the love. RLC says, is your show live on Rumble? My show is live on Rumble, but on Rumble, you cannot get it. There's no chat, which is why I don't push Rumble, because if Rumble had chat, I would do that. I want to find out, because according to StreamYard, which is the software I use, Twitter has chat, but when I tried, I took a little break from Rumble and tried to stream to Twitter, but the chat didn't work. And then, of course, you know, like 2 weeks later, it's like, oh, well, you have to have a premium account. You know, and I don't know if you have to have a premium account to make the chat work. And I didn't research it, because when it said you had to have a premium account, I was just like, screw you, Twitter. Okay. So Master Plays Radio and Television. Let me have one, please. Number 4. Okay, so Master Play. Usually I only do 1 through 3, but since you're new, even though you didn't put it in caps, everybody, caps, I'm going to do a 4 for you. Okay, so I'm just kind of like looking down. So ERRT Radio, if you can give me a number between 1 and 3, that would be great. Okay, so Master Play Radio and Television. Well, that's interesting. You got the exact same card. I'm going to give you a totally different reading on it, though. So I feel that you have some projects that are in the making. I feel like, you know, they're in the egg, they're in the cocoon, and they are waiting to hatch. Interestingly, I feel like there's some hesitancy on your part about moving forward. A little bit of fear, a little bit of, you know, fear. I'll just say fear. That kind of encompasses everything. You know, and it's interesting, because I feel like everything could just stay in this stasis spot until you just sit there and go, okay, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to move forward with this. You know, worst case scenario, it doesn't work out that great and you stop doing it, you know, or you shift it and you move it and you do something else. I mean, but I feel like what you've been working on, and the planning and the flushing out this thing, you know, feels pretty good and it feels pretty solid, but now it is ready to actually manifest. And that's kind of where the holdup is. So, and I feel like the holdup is your insecurity and fear about the whole thing. Like, is the timing right? What will people think? You know, that kind of weird stuff. So, love to hear more about it as time goes by. All right, so a horse says Thursday night, not Friday. Not sure what that means, but all right. Boy, you guys are persistent. All right, so EERC You wanted a reading, but you asked, like, I have to like scroll. There's a lot of comments in here. All right, so I'm not going to scroll down that far. I'm just going to give you a number 1 and give you a reading. Okay, and that's the card that came up. So one of the things that you're showing me is that you have come up with a lot of ideas of things that you would like to implement and move forward. And don't shoot me for this, but I feel like some of them are not real grounded. There are some people that are like the big picture people. There are some people that are more the hands-on, get things done kind of people. And I'm not saying that you can't be hands-on, but you like the creative end of it, I think, more. And so figuring out how you can bring that more into your body, into more reality, that's not really coming out very good at all. Interesting. Okay, I'm going to go somewhere completely different. So I get the impression, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I get the impression that you have a certain amount of physical pain. And so for you to bring your spirit into your body so that it seats comfortably in your body, it's not fun. It's painful, which is why you're kind of sitting out of it. But when you're sitting out of it, it makes it so that your ability to manifest isn't hooked up quite in the right way. And so working with grounding, working with bringing yourself into the present moment will help you with that. But again, I feel like there's a certain level of body pain that is keeping you from wanting to do that. And I would totally understand because I've seen that before. Now I hope that makes more sense to you, to me. Okay. All right, Julie says, subscribed on YouTube, would love a reading on book project. Okay, so Julie, I'm just kind of doing cards. I can see if anything about your book comes to me while I'm like doing a card. They just tell me what they want, especially when I'm doing cards. Uh-oh, mask card. All right. Okay, so then every like really super crappy card has come up. Julie, what are you doing? Okay, so you had like, that wasn't a bad card, but I wasn't feeling a shift. And then you got like yucky card, another mask card. This one wasn't too bad, but again, not feeling a shift. Another yucky card, and then this one. I like this one. Okay, so what does this all mean? And I don't read them all. I just kind of like look at how deep the rabbit hole goes, pretty much. Girl, you have to like just let the book happen and stop beating yourself up over like, I need to do it, and trying to make it happen. It's like writing, happens in flow. And, people wonder why they get writer's block. Well, you get writer's block because you're just sitting there trying to make flow happen, and it can't flow if you're trying to make it happen because it don't work that way. So I'm not really sure where you are in the process. I feel like there's also another piece that you have been playing around with, some of the marketing stuff, maybe a title thing, cover, I feel like it's more the, the external part. And just have fun with that. I don't feel like you have taken all of that material and consolidated it inside of yourself to decide this is what it's going to be. I mean, I know that all of my books, they start off with a working title and then, what it ends up being. So, for example, all right, where did it go? My new book, dang, it was me all along, started off with the title Transcending the Dysfunctional Dance of the Empath and Narcissist, because it was kind of a follow-up book. Standalone, but follow up. And so don't stress about it, because there will come a time where that information will start to solidify for you, and that would all be cool. Okay. All right. Nina. Hey, girl. All right, did that. Okay. Okay, so Anne, I just am doing card readings, and stuff like that is what I do in private consultations. So I can do a card reading for you. Eric, well, actually, you know what? I will do a card reading for you, and let's just see what comes up. But again, okay, so this is the card that came up for you. Okay, so, whether this has to do with Chinese or not, I have absolutely no idea. But I feel like one of the things that you are wanting to do is to create wholeness in yourself. I feel like you believed, one of those, that you are just kind of fragmented all over. And I feel like there's this effort on your part to kind of bring it all together and to consolidate it. I think that that's really great. I feel like, you're in a very healing place right now, and just really moving forward in being yourself, and not all of these, people that act in different ways with different people. And I don't mean like multiple personality disorder. I mean, we all kind of do that. So if Chinese is on that path, sure, why not? All right, I already did that. Eric would like a reading. And then number 1. Okay, Eric. Okay, so I'm not even going to put this up, but this show is for doing general readings. If you have specific questions, I would just really ask that you schedule an appointment with me. This is just, kind of informational purposes, not. I'm putting up a boundary that says, that's what I get paid to do, and this is free. Does that sound mean? Am I being mean? All right, Eric. Oh, and you said number 1, and I'm just like shuffling away. All right. Man, what's with the duplicate cards today? All right, Eric, that's your card for today. So Eric, I feel like one of the things that you've been wanting to find, instill, practice, have more of, is inner peace within yourself, and to feel more tranquility within yourself and within your life. And I feel like it's something that you have made an active goal or an active priority, so I want to applaud you on that. And so even though it might not be perfect, and even though, you still might get flustered by things that are going on around you, when we do things, when we take on a practice, it's just that, it's a practice. But once we start doing it for a while and we look back, we can see that we have changed and transitioned from who we were to where we are now. And even though it might not be perfect now, it would be different and hopefully better. Okay? Okay. So Master Player wants to know, are you being relayed to ERRT digital radio now? Not at this point in time. It's going to re-air to start off with and then go from there. Okay. Okay. All right. So if you're asking me, I don't mean to be a bitch, but if you ask me specific questions, I'm not answering specific questions. I'm not answering specific questions. I'm just doing card readings. Okay. So Master Player Radio Intelligence name is Bobby. Hey, Bobby. All right. So Amy says, must be sister visit time. I'm in Florida with my sister Jan. Can she have a reading, please? Number 3. She sure can. And that is Jan. Hi, Jan. What's going on today? Duplicate cards and mask cards. Okay, so Jan, that's your card. Okay, I like this one. Okay, so a few. I was kind of hoping that one would clear, but I'm not feeling that. So this is your card. This is what's sitting underneath. And it's interesting, Jan, because I feel like you are wanting to try something new, explore something new. There's this whole new thing going on, or new for you, and that but you don't really know how to do it, or you don't have all of the information, and you need to kind of get information in order to like put the pieces together to move forward with it, which is very cool. I mean, I get the impression that you're a pretty curious person, so that's cool too. You know, and I said this last week, and I'm going to say it again this week. You know, when you're not really sure how to get to Z from A, you know, but how to get to Z, you know, just ask Spirit, what do I need to do now in relationship to this? What do I need to do now? Or what do I need to do today? And let that other part go, you know, in the big picture, so that it doesn't drive you freaking crazy and get you flustered, because you probably can't get there in 10 minutes anyway, you know, and that there are these steps. And so bring it closer to home and ask, what are the steps that I need to do first, and then second and third, and it will make it less daunting for you. I hope that makes sense. So ERTT Radio said, Marco, be good. So I'm guessing that you know Marco, but Marco was my fan first, and so I'm not sharing. And then Audio Landscape said, what a shame about free speech. And yeah, I wanted to do a whole thing on it today, and I just decided to not. All right. All right, so there's this whole conversation going on in the background, and I'm just ignoring all of it. Dave Perry. Hey, Dave Perry. Marco wants to know, vodka and cranberry. I wish. I'd be all passed out on the floor if it was. So Veronica says, yes, I am triggered by my past garbage and all over the place. And Veronica, it's you. You're triggered, but I don't get the impression that he did anything bad. I mean, something happened that triggered you, but I don't get the impression it's bad. If, like, I wish I could explain it better. Anyway, we'll just keep track on what's going on, okay? Because you're here every week. We'll just keep track. And then Yvonne says, yes, 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 exactly how I feel. I'm planning a downtime weekend. Excellent, Yvonne. All right. Eric says, yes, it was all true. I'm not sure if that's about the reading. Okay. All right. Anne Lee says, and I gave you a reading already, so I did that. Reading, please. One is fine. I already did that. Eric says he's going to YouTube. Yeah. And when you're there, subscribe to my channel. All right. Eric says healer in the house. All right. Julie says number 3. Okay. And Eric, I'm going to say this to you in a very loving way, but I'm doing card readings. And when I do card readings, whatever comes up in the cards comes up in the cards. And so I'm not answering specific questions. So if you have a specific question that you would like me to address, you really need to schedule a private consultation. Or everybody, you would really need to schedule a private consultation. Okay, Julie. Dang. All right, I'm going to go with this one. So there were a few, but this was not bad, and this was not bad, but this is a really good one. So, all right, so Julie. All right, so Julie, this is kind of ugly, but the energy that I'm getting is that there was some kind of betrayal or something happened that really hurt you. I'm just feeling like this energy really deep in your heart. It feels fairly recent. I feel like you have been employing every tool you have in order to not be hurt, to move through it. I don't know like how metaphysical you are. So I'm going to say this and hopefully you'll understand. When I look at this energy, there is the hurt in the 4th chakra, but I am also seeing that there was kind of a gut punch you got with what happened. And I feel like that's, I think, the part that hurts more, but there's not really an awareness of that. Yeah, I'm just going to put a period there. I hope that makes sense, and let me know if it does. All right. All right. ERRT Radio says, what are the cards that you're using? So these are called dream cards, and they were originally made for doing dream interpretation, which I don't do. And a friend of mine had them, and to be honest with you, I would look at her deck because I used to run a psychic fair years ago, and I would look at her deck and see those mask cards and kind of get creeped out because, yeah, they were creepy. And then I went to go buy a new deck, and they just kept calling to me and calling to me and calling to me. And I finally broke down and bought a deck, and really that's all I've been reading for years. And I have 2 decks. I have my like trade show whatever deck, and I have my in-the-house deck. So this is my in-the-house deck. All right, so Amy says, yes, last couple of weeks been up and down with weird stuff on and off, seeing light at the end of the tunnel. Me too. Just so weird. Uhura says, thanks a lot, Dr. Rita. Your reading was so accurate. And then Unar says, thank you, Rita, for your readings. That's pretty on target. Wonderful. Uhura says, would I get out of all that safe? And is there any help? I'm not sure what that means, or if this is an appropriate venue for that. Okay. Okay. All right. Oh, there's more. But wait, there's more. What time? Shit, it's after 8 o'clock. You guys kept me here a long time. Anyway, so it's that time, and I'm going to go. So, again, I love doing these readings. I have no issue doing card readings. If you have specific questions that you would like to ask me and get guidance on, please do go to my webpage, soulhealer.com, and schedule a time for a private consultation with me. We can get into a whole lot more depth as to what's going on with you, for you, blah, blah, blah. Again, don't forget to sign up for my newsletter, like and subscribe all of my social media, Rumble, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. Can't remember what else I have on there. And if you're hearing this in rerun, please go to my YouTube channel, Just Energy Radio on YouTube. That's Just Energy Radio on YouTube. So guys, until next week, I'm Dr. Rita Louise. This is Thursday Night Live. We will be back with the reptilians. Till then, be blessed.